So those three things, I think, are the massive cause of depression. Being negative actually saved your life, looking for danger, looking for snakes, looking for lions. Do you know Muhammad Ali said, I told myself I was the greatest before I even was. And then something amazing happened. I became the greatest. He could have said, oh, I'm not much good, me. I'm useless, really. It's all a fluke. But he said, I am the greatest long before he was.
A lot of the sort of mental health disorders, depression, anxiety, etc. There's been a lot said about the recent and the just apparent increase in the amount of people reporting to have these, illnesses. Do you believe that there has been an increase? And if so, what do you think has been the cause?
I would say there's definitely been an increase in depression. I've found in my experience, it's only my experience, that the major cause of depression are a couple of things. One are harsh, hurtful, critical words that we say to ourselves on a regular basis. That is guaranteed to make you depressed. The second is being disconnected. And we have an epidemic of disconnection because everyone is on their phone and their screen. We worked from home in COVID. Some of us are still doing that. We go to the store and we do a self-checkout. We go to the bank and we check out with a machine. So we are becoming disconnected. And human beings are wired for connection, not disconnection. And the other thing I find is a massive cause of depression is failing to follow your heart's desire, doing something because, well, the family expect it, the pay is good, it's a solid job. So those three things, I think, are the massive cause of depression.
On that first point about people telling themselves negative stories, we'll all know people that are very self-disparaging. Is that, and it's interesting because, I don't know where that originates from, but I know so many people that are incredibly self-disparaging.
Yeah.
The first thing they'll say to you is, oh, I'm sorry, I look bad today. Or
I know. I messed that up. I'm just a mess. I always fail. I'm so sorry, They look in the mirror and they go, oh my God, look at me. Or they go, I'm going to do this, but it won't work. Where it comes from, funnily enough, is our tribal need. We're still inside tribal people and we need to connect with a group. And so bragging, I'm better than you, I'm smarter than you, I got more than you, is disconnecting. And so people learn to connect by not having that tall poppy syndrome. We have to be the same. Children at school bond by being the same. And I found many clients say, my parents were rich or dirt poor. I was the only kid with glasses and I felt different, like being the head teacher's daughter. So it comes from there. So it's a strange thing that a few hundred years ago and beyond, being negative actually saved your life, looking for danger, looking for snakes, looking for lions, looking for weird people. You might do it because they believe it protects them from hurt and pain.
if they reject themselves first.
Yeah, if they reject themselves first. No one's ever going to like me. See, I knew it. And now it doesn't hurt, but it really hurts. And so our job is to show people that no happiness is there. You might as well expect the best. Muhammad Ali said, I told myself I was the greatest before I even was. And then something amazing happened. I became the greatest. He could have said, oh, I'm not much good, me. I'm useless, really. It's all a fluke. But he said, I am the greatest long before he was. And that was so good for him because people think of him as undefeated, which isn't true. But that's the idea of him because he told himself a better lie. And if we could only all do that, our lives would be so much better, mostly because the mind doesn't know or care if what you're telling it is true or false or good or bad. It just lets it all in.
It's like, as you said, our thoughts are actually blueprints. And I was thinking about them as like they are code going into a sat nav.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If I tell myself I'm beautiful and I'm going to be successful and I'm going to get married, then my mind and my being will take me in that direction. Maybe even subconsciously, my actions will further me in that direction. I will say yes to things that are conducive with that outcome. And it really goes to show, doesn't it, the power of, as you say, the limiting beliefs we tell ourselves, because we all say them. I've gone through my life telling myself that I'm really unorganized.
I know.
Because I grew up in a really unorganized home where my parents were never there, so everything was just a mess. Yeah,
and I'm not wanted or I don't matter. I was working with a kid a couple of years ago who was in the Chelsea junior team, Chelsea Football Club. And every day their coach said, you've got a 2% chance of getting into the main team playing for Chelsea, just 2%. So you've got to shape up. But you see, most kids, when they hear that, think, oh, I got a 98% chance of failing here. 2%, it's tiny. I said, listen, you just got to say, I'm in the 2%. Someone else told me that their doctor said you have a 20% chance of surviving cancer. That's great. I'll go in. I'm in the 20%. I'm in that 20%. You might think that's foolish, but when you set your mind to something and look at being in the percentage that makes it, actually your mind and body start to work at a level that make you stay in that percentage. If you do the opposite, well, I'm in the percentage of failures, the same thing happens. Your mind and body work to make you stay in that percentage, because the strongest force in humans is that we act in a way that totally matches how we define ourselves. When you say I'm a loser, I'm a hot mess, I'm a train wreck, everything I touch doesn't work, if only we knew how we are making those thoughts real and how our mind's job is to actually start making our thoughts real, we'd probably stop them.
But it's not, I guess it's not so easy just to make someone an optimist.
No, that's true.
If we think about the pessimists in our lives, and I've got friends that are pessimistic about, it just seems to be their default. And no matter, none of us in our friendship group are therapists, but the efforts we've gone to try and make this individual not pessimistic in every situation have never ever worked. I'm thinking about a friend I have back home who always, and used to work for me, who always defaults to just pessimism and everything's going wrong and whatever. And yeah.
But then you have to ask them, if you say to them the same thing I say to alcoholics, what's good about it? They'd say, I'm never disappointed.
What's good about your pessimism?
Yeah, what's good about it? If I said to my mother, what's good about being a hypochondriac? She'd say, well, I get lots of attention. I love being in hospital. Everyone's so worried about me. People come to visit me. So you have to ask him, what's good about being a pessimistic? And he'll say, I don't let people down. People don't expect anything of me. And so
it's that expectation.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more than the thought, because if you imagine a stack, I have to use my fingers to explain it. That's the thought, and thought always comes first. And then you think a thought, and when you think a thought, you then feel a feeling, and then the feeling dictates how you act. So imagine you thought a thought, which is I'm not enough. The biggest cause of issues in the Western world is this not enoughness. If I thought I'm not enough, and I went straight to the next ladder, the next stage, how would I feel if I thought I'm not enough? I'd feel sad, dejected, demoralized, maybe angry, maybe resentful, maybe bitter. So I've thought a thought, I got some feelings that come with thinking the thought. But then what actions come from thinking that thought and feeling those feelings? Often no actions. I don't take risks. I don't ask people out, ask for promotion. I'm actually angry and defensive. So now I've got actions and behaviors. I'm angry, I'm defensive, I'm reclusive, I'm a loser, I don't bother. And then we justify it by going back because I'm not enough. But if you switch that to I am enough and just took out the not and go, okay, if I thought I'm enough, if I said it, even if I didn't believe it, but said it, what would I feel? Well, I might feel optimistic. I might feel confident. I might feel reassured. I might feel hopeful. I might feel excited. And then what thought actions would I have? Well, I would take some risks. I'd ask people out. I'd ask for that promotion. I'd follow my dreams. I'd behave differently, and I'd justify it again. It's like a loop. Thought, feeling, action, behavior, thought. So although it sounds very Pollyanna, oh, you're just thinking great thoughts, it's much more than that, because when you think a thought, you feel a feeling, and then you act on that thought and feeling, and you behave in a way that's linked to that thought and feeling. And a lot of things say, let's change the behavior. Stop drinking, stop smoking, stop sabotaging, stop procrastinating, stop acting out. But the behavior is the last thing to change. You have to go back and change the thought first. And then it's easy.
If you love the Diary of a CEO brand and you watch this channel, please do me a huge favor. Become part of the 15% of the viewers on this channel that have hit the subscribe button. It helps us tremendously, and the bigger the channel gets, the bigger the guests.